Hey YouTube, it's Marquita, and today I am here to bring you guys a vlog about relationships. So, if you guys will take a journey back into your mind, you may remember that when Riley was probably about 3 or 4 weeks old, I made a vlog about how hard parenting is. And so here I am with part 2, I guess you can say, about how relationships and parenting is really hard, and what are some things that have helped us or are helping us that might in turn help you. In my last vlog, I talked to you guys about how difficult parenting is and how hard and how actually misleading it can actually be when you see people and they're really cute babies and you think, oh my gosh, their life has to be so amazing because they have this really super cute baby and they seem like they're so happy and their life seems so perfect. And that resulted in me making a video about how hard parenting was, and another video that was basically, I'm so lucky, I think not. And so now fast forward to the past 7 months. Riley is now 7 months old, and there are some things that have definitely changed in my relationship as far as the dynamic is concerned, and that's basically what this vlog is about. So when you have a new baby, it is very stressful. Preparing for a new baby is always so much fun. You get to put together stuff. You get to look at really cute clothes. When the baby first comes home, it's like, oh my gosh, I have this new life. I'm responsible for this person. And then the extreme fatigue sets in, and then you start getting snippy and you look up and you're like, what the hell happened? So that was the point that my relationship is at. And let me say this. A lot of people, I get, not a lot, but I get messages that say like, oh my gosh, your relationship is so awesome, it's so perfect. And I just want to put this disclaimer out there and make it be known that I do not have the perfect relationship. I honestly don't think that anyone has the perfect relationship. Every relationship has its ups, every relationship has its downs. Some relationships have more highs than lows, and some relationships have more lows than highs. And I like to do a little thing called keeping it real. I know that I see it everywhere, and some, like the young kids, call it flexing or whatever you want to call it. I don't have time for that. So this vlog is coming to you guys super raw, super honest, because I don't have time to be posting Facebook statuses talking about how perfect my relationship is and how much I absolutely love my wife 24 hours a day when I know that that may or may not be the case. I don't have time to be posting on Twitter or posting on Instagram or anywhere else on the social media site, including on YouTube, saying how perfect my relationship is and that there's never anything wrong and that we never have any problems. Because you know what, ladies and gentlemen, those are not real relationships. So that's my keeping it real for the moment. I know you saw the ratchet neck roll come out for a second, but I know a lot of people say, well, you always keep it real, and I'm going to keep it real, that relationships are hard. First of all, relationships are work. If there's not a moment when you don't want to just whap your partner, and I'm not endorsing domestic violence, but there's some days that you really just look at your partner, your wife, your husband, your spouse, and say, we all know what that look means. If you don't have one of those moments, you might want to look at some things, because I've had those moments, and becoming a parent has made those moments come a lot more frequently. I've talked to some of my other YouTube mommies, a lot of the other new YouTube mommies, some of my mommy friends in real life, and I am happy to hear that I am not the only person that deals with the fact that my partner sometimes gets on my last nerve. My wife, I love her to death. Like, this is definitely not a divorce vlog. I just want anyone who's working, exes out there, not a divorce vlog. So you might want to press pause right now. It's not happening. There is no divorce in our household. And I say that with all seriousness. So when we decided that we were going to get married, we decided that we were in this for the long haul. I think that we pride ourselves on not being one of those couples that Because we try to keep our personal life off of social media, we're not one of those people that like, oh my God, I hate you, we broke up, and then, oh my God, we're back together. Because people tend to downplay the seriousness of your relationship. And it sucks that people are like that, but that's the society we live in. So we keep our business off of social media, and we don't believe in breakups. Like when we were dating before we got married, we didn't believe in breakups, and then so there's no divorce here. So I said all that to say this. I've had to do like a 6-minute ramble. Is that parenting is hard, and there will be a moment when you wake up in your relationship, when you're a parent, and you look around and say, what the hell happened to my relationship, and how in the world can I get it back? And that is where Krista and I are currently at. I am being 100% vulnerable and honest and open with YouTube, regardless of judgment, because I'm being honest, and I want to warn another couple so that, you know, their relationship might not take the same path. Instead of trying to veer to get it back on, you might ignore all the warning signs, and then, oh snap, I'm getting a divorce, or oh snap, we're breaking up, or whatever else. So this is the path, you know, a short trip down memory lane, or down wherever street you want to call it, as to how we have gotten here and what we're going to do to fix it. So, like I've said a million times, I love my wife to death. My wife is the reason, one of the main reasons why I'm still here on this earth, living and breathing. And it's a completely separate vlog. I think I've shared with you guys that I have struggled with anxiety and depression and post-traumatic stress disorder and all kinds of other things. And my wife has been one of the strongest forces in me getting better and being the awesome woman that you see here today. When we decided to TTC, that puts a strain on your relationship. And I talked to some people about that, people who asked me about TTC. I say, make sure that your relationship is ironclad before you decide to try to bring a child into your relationship. And it's no shade, no tea, no shade to those of you who have been together for like 6 months and want to try to have a baby. Just make sure that your relationship is ironclad. We were together for 2 years before we started TTCing. Almost 2 years before we started TTCing, and I'm so happy that we had that time to get to know each other, to travel. Before we got married, we did marriage counseling because we wanted to know that this was going to be for the long haul, and that's what I always encourage everyone to do. Now, when you have a baby, when you go through that TTC process, we TTC'd for 13 months before we got pregnant. Every time that we got a negative, it was hard on our relationship. We had to figure out a way to reconnect as a couple every month, because losses and disappointments can really, you know, tear the fabric of your relationship and of your marriage. When we had Riley, it was a completely different thing. You have this little person who is super demanding. Anyone who thinks that babies are just cute and full of smiles and full of giggles have never had a child before. And I was one of those people who were guilty of that. Babies are the most demanding, selfish, impatient creatures that I've ever encountered. Babies don't care if you're sick. Babies don't care if you're hungry. Babies don't care if you're sad, if you're mad, if you're upset. They do not care, because guess what? Their needs come first. And so when you have a relationship, when you have a 2-parent household or even a single parent household, all of your attention goes to this little person, especially in those first 4 to 5 months before your baby is able to be independent. And that is where all your love goes. That's where all your affection goes. And so there are times, you know, you're sleep deprived and you're just passing each other in the house. Like, here's a bottle, here's a diaper, love you, here's a, you know, quick kiss. You have those first 6 weeks, and if you had any complications in your pregnancy, adult time is not happening. And then if you're happening to co-sleep, that adult time gets cut even further in half. And then you wake up and you're like, oh my gosh, what happens? Like I said before, I don't want to end up in divorce court. I don't want to end up with my partner having an affair. I want to make sure that we are ironclad. So enough of my ranting, rambling, and raving. I'm going to show you guys 2 of the books that we have currently been reading to try and get things back on track. So, the first book is And Baby Makes 3. It is written by John Gottman and John and Julie Gottman. They're actually a couple here in Seattle, so it's really helpful. This is basically a 6-step plan about preserving your marriage intimacy and rekindling your romance after your baby arrives. Go get it. The next book is called Fighting for Your Marriage. It is by Howard Markham, Scott Stanley, and Susan Blumberg, and I will put the links in the description box below. And this is a great guide for couples. This book has been revised 2 or 3 times. It comes with an awesome DVD in the back, and it is a great read to have. So I definitely recommend either of these books, Baby Makes 3 and Fighting for Your Marriage. I am definitely also open to couples counseling. Never think that your relationship is too good for counseling. In some states when you're married, that is a requirement to get divorced anyways, to have to go through counseling. So if you think that you're avoiding counseling because you don't want to go or it's not going to help you, you never know what it might do. It might really help your relationship. And so we're definitely open to that. All I know is that I'm in this for the long run. All I know is that relationships are really hard. And all I know is that I love my wife with every fiber of my being, and I want her to stay my wife. And not only that, I don't want to dislike her. I want to like her. I don't want to be a crotchety old couple who like really can't stand each other, but they only stayed married for the kids. I want to have a relationship full of love, full of passion. And in order to do that, you have to work. If you're not working, it ain't working. So I will be doing a lot of different steps to help figure out this path, and we will be working on this thing together because we're not leaving. We're not going anywhere. And although we're not at that point, who wants to let it get to that point? Who wants to look around and say, I would rather look around and be like, what the hell happened, to like look around and like, my life is in shambles, I'm on my way to divorce court, and then I'm asking myself, what the hell happened? I'd rather see the warning signs and know that it's time to start making some serious changes. It's time to reconnect as a couple. It's time to reconnect as individuals as well. And it's time to really figure this thing out and how we can balance our lives and our marriage as parents as well as being married. So just like my parenting is hard vlog was all over the place, my marriage is hard vlog is all over the place as well. But I am being open and vulnerable because I know that there are other people that are there in my situation, whether they will admit it to how many ever subscribers. I know that there are people out there who wish that they could just wring their partner's neck sometimes. And there's a couple of people who told me that having a baby was the best thing that ever happened in their life, and it was the worst thing that ever happened in their marriage. And if they didn't take a step back and actually work on their relationship, that they could have been divorced or worse. So that's really all I have to say about that. I hope that it's helpful. As always, if you ever need to reach out and talk to me, please do. You're more than welcome to email me any kind of challenges. I also have a list of a couple other books that I have gotten from the library. I have not had the opportunity to read them yet, but we're gonna fix this thing. Yeah, we're gonna fix this thing. So we're gonna get back on the right track, and there is nothing wrong with asking for help. There is nothing wrong with being honest. Of course, honestly, posting this vlog, I'm concerned about being judged, but at the end of the day, I would rather be judged for trying to fix my relationship than being judged for somebody, like, for something else. Like, people are going to judge me because I care about my wife and I care about my relationship. Whatever. Anywho, thanks so much for watching. I hope this was helpful. Bye!